Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing well. I've made a couple of videos on this channel following the Vladimir Kramnik situation. If you're unfamiliar with it, I'll leave a bunch of links in the description of videos that I've made on it in the past. But essentially, we're talking about Vladimir Kramnik baselessly accusing people of cheating, with the latest being the late Daniel Naroditsky. The reason that I'm making this video is because FIDE have officially given their punishment to Vladimir Kramnik. The investigation of Vladimir Kramnik's misconduct with Grandmaster David Navarra and Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky has officially finished, and FIDE have released their statement, which we are going to read together. FIDE have also released a long PDF, which I'll summarize later, but we can read their initial statement for now. The FIDE Ethics and Disciplinary Commission has issued its decision in disciplinary proceedings involving former world champion Vladimir Kramnik. The EDC is an independent judicial body within FIDE responsible for considering alleged violations of the FIDE Ethics Code and Disciplinary Code. It operates independently from the FIDE President, Management Board, and other elected bodies, and reaches its decisions in accordance with the FIDE statutes and its procedural rules. The proceedings arose from complaints submitted by the FIDE Management Board and the FIDE Fair Play Commission concerning a sustained series of public statements and social media posts made by Grandmaster Kramnik about Grandmaster David Navarra and the late Grandmaster Daniel Naroditsky, as well as other players. Following a comprehensive review of the evidence and submissions from all parties, the EDC found Grandmaster Kramnik responsible for multiple violations of the FIDE Ethics Code and Disciplinary Code. The Chamber found that his conduct breached provisions relating to the right to dignity and respectful treatment, safeguarding the dignity of individuals, bullying and cyberbullying, psychological abuse, responsibility as a role model, failure to cooperate with the Fair Play Commission's investigation, and false or unjustified public accusations. At the same time, the Commission dismissed several other charges, including alleged violations relating to integrity, honesty, responsibility, and accountability, as well as causing reputational harm to FIDE, concluding that these had not been established to the required standard. In its decision, the EDC emphasized that combating cheating remains one of FIDE's highest priorities. At the same time, it underlined that allegations of cheating must be handled through FIDE's established confidential procedures and supported by appropriate evidence. The Commission concluded that publicly associating identifiable players with cheating suspicions without sufficient institutional verification exposed those players to unjustified reputational and psychological harm and was incompatible with the standards expected of members of the FIDE family. The Chamber also noted that the proceedings were not intended to determine the scientific validity of Grandmaster Kramnik's anti-cheating methodology itself. While acknowledging the value of continued research and innovation in fair play, it concluded that the available evidence did not permit a definitive assessment of the methodology because it had not been fully disclosed, and the investigation was therefore based on incomplete information. The disciplinary findings instead concerned the manner in which allegations were communicated publicly and their impact on other members of the chess community. Having considered both aggravating and mitigating circumstances, the EDC imposed a 2-year worldwide ban from participating in FIDE chess competitions or acting in official chess functions. The final 12 months of the ban have been suspended for a probationary period of 3 years, meaning the active suspension is 1 year provided no further breaches occur during probation. In addition, the Chamber imposed 12 months of unpaid service for the benefit of the chess community as a supplementary sanction. The decision may be appealed to the FIDE Ethics and Disciplinary Commission Appeal Chamber within 21 days in accordance with the EDC procedural rules. And then a full decision of the FIDE Ethics and Disciplinary Commission is available here. This is the PDF. This is the PDF in question. It's 43 pages long, so we're not going to go through it together, but I went to the bother of reading it myself, so I've written a couple of notes from the PDF. So the first thing that we need to go over is, what did FIDE actually find Kramnik guilty of? And I don't think that FIDE really missed the mark on anything here. They say that he was found guilty of violating players' dignity, harassment, bullying and cyberbullying, psychological abuse, making false accusations, failure to cooperate, and reckless accusations of cheating. So if we are to have a problem with FIDE's decision here, it's not that they didn't find something, it's about the severity of the punishment. FIDE also didn't reject Kramnik's anti-cheating methodology as scientifically false. This is because it was never fully disclosed, which I completely agree with. So even if we are to say that his methodology is just not true, there's no way that we can prove that because he never fully disclosed it. One thing that actually surprised me looking through the PDF was that the Chamber heavily criticized FIDE for how they handled all of the evidence. We can see here the Chamber heavily criticized FIDE for their submission of evidence. FIDE tried to use hyperlinks, public tweets, and online posts as evidence. The main problem with this is that public online posts can just be removed. The correct procedure is to preserve evidence in PDF form. FIDE failed to do this, and as a result, some evidence was disregarded. It's a little bit unclear as to what evidence is disregarded and how much this actually affected the entire case, but it's just completely unprofessional and shows that there is a lot of incompetence at FIDE. But now we need to look at Vladimir Kramnik's punishment. The Fair Play Commission initially requested that he receive a €25,000 fine and a 4-year worldwide ban. The chamber said that the rules don't allow both as principal sanctions for the same disciplinary breach. You can either choose a principal ban or a principal fine, but you can't have both. Apparently, Kramnik being a first-time offender weighed into their decision, but the seriousness was stressed regardless. I think that this kind of cancels out because although he was technically a first-time offender, he also wasn't because there was David Navarra before Daniel Naroditsky, not to mention that there were several other players that he also accused of cheating. So whilst he is technically a first-time offender, he is also technically not because there is more than one person that he did this to. It also seemed that FIDE or the Chamber's focus seemed to be heavily on the possible rehabilitation instead of discipline. So instead of a 4-year ban, Kramnik is getting a 2-year worldwide ban with the last 12 months suspended. This means that as long as he has not breached the terms of his suspension by July 3rd, 2027, he can return to competitive chess. He also has 3 years of probation, so if Kramnik breaches the FIDE ethics code again before 2029, he will be banned for 12 months on top of any new sanctions. So for example, if he does all of this again, but to me, for example, he will be banned for 12 months and there will be an extra investigation on top of that with a new disciplinary action. He also has 12 months unpaid service for the chess community. It's very unclear what this actually means, and it's very unclear how this will be enforced. In fact, in the whole PDF, there is no information that sheds any light on what this means, especially because it says 12 months of unpaid service. Obviously, you cannot expect someone to be working 24/7 for 12 months, so there's no hourly requirement for Kramnik here. Over the course of 12 months, they might decide, hey, you can do like a half an hour thing, and that's it. That technically falls under this umbrella, so it's incredibly vague. And that's it. That's the whole punishment. I think it is such a slap on the wrist. I don't think it really does anything. The one thing that I will say it does do is it does show that Kramnik was wrong in some regard. I know that's probably not what a lot of people are thinking about. They want him to have the most severe punishment possible. I won't actually show his posts on X where he has gone on a little tangent about this decision, which he completely disagrees with and he is going to appeal. But worst case scenario, I think it's good that he is being told no by FIDE, that what he did was wrong and he is just not in the right. But in the same sentence, I think that's the only good takeaway from any of this. This is just about the lightest that he could have gotten off. These are not real punishments. I mean, this is barely a 1-year ban. And I mean, the probation period and what triggers him to have an extended ban is also pretty unclear. Like, it took someone dying for FIDE to open the investigation in the first place, so I'm not sure what it would take for these terms to be triggered for his ban to actually be extended. So I think there is a high likelihood that he's just suspended for 12 months and then nothing happens after that. Apart from that, I'm not really sure what else there is left to say. The Daniel Naroditsky Memorial Rapid and Blitz is currently ongoing, so I'll leave some links in the description below where you guys can go ahead and watch that. I think Cinderov just won the Rapid. But other than that, this is FIDE's final decision, and I'll see you all in the next one.